Chris Stapleton is an absolute genius. One of the best songwriters of our generation, possibly one of the best songwriters of all time. Let's talk about it. What's up guys, my name is Connor and today we're going to be breaking down the songwriting prowess of Chris Stapleton. Now if you're not familiar with Chris Stapleton, he's an American singer-songwriter. He grew up in Kentucky, has spent much of his professional life writing and performing out of Nashville. And he's done a ton of different things. He built his career writing for other country superstars, has been in multiple bands including his esteemed bluegrass band, the Steel Drivers. And most recently and perhaps most notably, he has shifted his career into a solo singer-songwriter career and has absolutely thrived every step of the way. So today I'm going to break down 5 reasons why he is a songwriting mastermind and what we can learn from his songwriting skill set. So let's get into the good stuff. So reason number 1 is his use of simplicity. Now this is something I talk about a lot because it's something I as a songwriter really struggle with. When you listen to anything from Chris's catalog, you will never hear more than is necessary for the song to do its job. The guy is a freaking minimalist. Every song, he just cherry picks the exact little details that he thinks will blow your mind and nothing else, nothing to distract from the good stuff. A great example of this is one of his songs literally titled A Simple Song. Now the elements in this song are very straightforward. All it is some very light percussion, a bass, some layered guitars, and then his lead vocal and his wife's harmonies. That's not that much, and it's nothing super unique. It's a basic kind of folk style instrumentation, but it's about the way that he uses these elements that really make the song shine. So the percussion, super minimalistic, not doing anything crazy. But when you get to the chorus, if you listen very closely, he adds just a couple ride cymbal hits, tucked away in the back, but it's enough to make it feel like the chorus is enhanced and stands out and is set apart from the verses. If you listen closely to the guitar, you'll hear 2 guitars layered on top of each other. Neither guitar is stepping on the other one's toes. Instead, they're layered in a beautiful, synchronous way where they kind of weave in and out of each other and just create this beautiful movement that pushes the entire song along. And then there's the lead vocal and his wife's harmonies. So this is something Chris does a lot. He quite frequently features his wife on his songs and has her harmonize with him. It's kind of a signature part of his sound at this point. But she's not just singing along with him for the entire song. I mean, they both are incredible singers. They have incredible voices. They could probably get away with that. But no, the production is designed so that she only sings at the core moments that most enhance the story that he is telling. And then there is the beautifully simplistic lyrical style, which brings us to reason number 2 why Chris Stapleton is a songwriting genius. And that is his subtle form of storytelling. Chris never beats you over the head with the details of a story. He never comes out of the gate and just gives you everything up front. His storytelling style is more about just leaking little details from the story over time. So you start confused, not really sure what's going on, but there's enough to draw you in. And then by the end, you are just shaken by this incredibly beautiful and profound story, and you don't even realize when you figured out what's going on. He just slowly leads you there, and suddenly you're in the know. And speaking of his song, A Simple Song, it's the perfect example of this. The song opens with the lines, "Lately things are on my mind, good news is hard to find." Okay, nothing too crazy there, right? This could mean anything. It could be the context for any sort of story that he wants to tell. Immediately after that, "And I work on the factory line, all I do is stay behind." Okay, so now we know a little more. We know he's a factory worker, probably blue-collar American, given Chris's storytelling style and background. And he doesn't feel like he's doing a good job. He feels like he's constantly behind, constantly stressed, and unable to catch up and do what he needs to do. And then after that, it's just little details. Gets on the phone with his mom, they shoot the breeze, they talk about his dad, he laments the fact that he never calls his dad, talks about trying to get off cigarettes, how he has high cholesterol, and then there's maybe my favorite 2 lines in the entire song. "Talked to brother the other day, he didn't have too much to say." It's absolutely nothing, right? He's giving you no information, but it so beautifully enhances this very routine, straightforward, simple life story that he's trying to convey. And then the absolute mastery is the way that he turns things in the chorus. The verses are all about telling this story. It's a lot of details that are either kind of boring or a little bit depressing. Nothing super crazy or chaotic or conventionally interesting. And then he gets to the chorus and he turns it and starts talking about how he just loves his life. Even when things go wrong, it's the security of the simplicity and the consistency that really means something there. And it's just, it's so masterfully done. In most other songwriters' hands, this song song would be nothing compelling, because you're writing about nothing. It's a normal life. But the way Chris just sprinkles those details and pulls you in and moves you from point A to point B and gives you the twist so subtly that you almost don't even realize that it happens. It's just a work of art, and that's what's compelling about it. Another perfect example of his subtle storytelling style is the song Scarecrow in the Garden, which is probably on my top 3 list of favorite Chris Stapleton songs. I absolutely love this song. So this song is a tale about Irish immigrants that come to the US and settle down and start a farm. It tells the story over the span of 3 generations. At some point along the line, without even knowing it, you come to find out that the narrator who's telling the story is the youngest son of the 3rd generation, who's basically spilling out the details of his family lineage. And again, he's not just giving you everything. It's not like a huge, dense biography of all of these people. The first 6 lines is the entire story of the 1st generation. Well, he came from Northern Ireland, searching for the freeman's ground, and he came to bet his fortune on a West Virginia plow. He built a house of timber and raised a redhead son. 6 lines, we're already on to generation 2, and the story has been painted just specifically and just vividly enough that you know exactly what's going on without any need for excessive details. The best part of this song, I'm not even gonna tell you about. There is a huge twist at the very end that is soul crushing. The first time I heard the song, I had to go back and listen to that last verse like 3 or 4 times. But it's brilliant, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but you have to go listen to it. All right, reason number 3 why Chris Stapleton is a songwriting genius. This is also related to his lyrical ability, but he is just the master of descriptive imagery. Chris doesn't tell you anything. He shows you everything. Whether it be visual imagery, emotion, or just the way that he uses the specific linguistic style of the narrator to convey information about them. He's just a mastermind with this. One tongue-in-cheek example of this that I think is kind of funny is the song Up to No Good Living. So he immediately starts by kind of whining and complaining about his life, and you get the sense that the narrator of the song, the character that he's portraying, is somebody who's just kind of a delinquent, not really concerned with being a good person or trying to do right, but just kind of living their life, has all their vices, and has just accepted it. And early on in the song, he's talking about his wife and kind of lamenting the fact that she just interrogates him about his behavior and is just constantly questioning him. But he doesn't just come out and say, yeah, my wife's always on my case and I can't seem to get her off my back. Instead, he uses the line, I'm tired of her turning her questions into the Gettysburg Address. It's just a little thing, but that very tongue-in-cheek, dry sense of humor perfectly encapsulates the attitude of this character that he's portraying in this song. Another great example is one of his more recent releases called White Horse. So I love what he does in the chorus of this song. He starts with this beautiful vision of what a perfect love looks like. The lyrics are relatively simple and straightforward. If you want a cowboy on a white horse riding off into a sunset. And it's nothing crazy, it's nothing super innovative, but it immediately puts you there. But then he flips it, and here's the magic of it. He says, if that's the kind of love you want to wait for, hold on, I ain't there yet. So he, as the narrator of this song, is obviously communicating to his love, right? The person that he's in a relationship with or married to. And in the chorus, he just paints her the picture of everything that she wants, and then flips it and says, all of that I just gave you, that is not what I have to offer. And the character takes on a whole new life. It's not somebody promising the world. It's not your typical, I will give you everything love song. He's saying, here's everything that you want me to give you, that I should be able to give you. Oh, and also, I've got work to do. I'm not there yet. Be patient with me. It's a beautiful twist, and the visual imagery, combined with the way that he flips that on his head, really puts you in the shoes of this character that wants to give his love everything she deserves, but just isn't there yet. Has his own demons to wrestle with first. All right, reason number 4 why Chris Stapleton is a genius is his ability to defy conventional song form. So in a normal pop, rock, country song, just kind of standard modern contemporary song, you'll have an intro, verse, chorus, another verse, another chorus, bridge, another chorus, some sort of outro. Maybe there's some pre-choruses in there. Maybe there's a couple verses in a row. But that's the basic structure. That's what you get. But Chris is like, no, sir. Conventional song form? Sure, I'll give you enough of it to think you know what you're gonna hear, but we're gonna do things a little differently around here. One perfect example of this is his song, Nobody's Lonely Tonight. He starts out, he goes right into a verse, starts telling the story right away, follows that verse up with another verse, 2 verses in a row. Great, okay, nothing crazy there. Goes from that second verse into the chorus. Everything makes perfect sense so far. This is exactly what you're supposed to hear. Follows that chorus up with a guitar solo. A guitar solo in the middle of a country ballad in the 21st century. And not even in the bridge where guitar solos usually live. He's like, nah, verse again after the first chorus? Forget that, I'm gonna give you an instrumental. After that instrumental, right back into the chorus. And it's a short guitar solo too. You get the chorus, you get a little bit of guitar, then you get another chorus. And after that, does he go into the bridge? Does he double up the chorus? Does he go into an outro? No. How does he finish the song? He goes back to the original verse idea, brings everything down, closes with a very slow, somber, melancholy verse. It's beautiful. He takes you along for this ride, and just when you think you know what's gonna happen, he throws this huge curveball at you, then pulls it back around, finishes the song with the relatable themes you've already heard, but not in the order you're used to hearing them, and then the song's over and you're like, what the heck just happened? Another great example of this is Broken Halos, which is another one of my personal favorites. So Broken Halos is more of a conventional refrain style song, which means that the melody for the verse and the chorus are the exact same. Typically the chorus, or in this case it's really more of a refrain, it'll just have the same lyrics every time. So you'll tell part of the story, then you'll sing the same melody with some lyrics that tie all the elements of the story together. Then you'll go to the next part of the story, come back to that same refrain, next part of the story, same refrain, etc. Now this is an incredibly hard thing to do in 2017 when this song came out, because a refrain style song doesn't seem to fit the attention spans of people in the 21st century, right? This is the TikTok generation. These are people who need a quick verse and then a crazy chorus and then something else wild. Otherwise they're gonna click off, pause the song, and go do something else, right? Well, Chris Stapleton's like, nah, forget that. You're getting the same melody over and over again, and just when you think it's getting stale, bam, I'm gonna hit you with 2 bars of guitar, just to keep things interesting and break it up. He gets you through 2 choruses just like that, telling, by the way, a compelling enough story in the lyrics that you're invested in along for the ride. And then by the time, again, when you're starting to get sick of that melody, he hits you with a bridge. Does he change the melody? No, there is no melody. He is not singing, there is no other instrument playing the melody part. He just changes the guitar chords, and for 4 bars plays something completely different. After that, right back to the refrain style song, goes back to another verse. It's something that shouldn't work. It should require more variety. It feels like it's just too simplistic, too much repetition, but because of the subtle choices he makes, he ensures that every time you think you're gonna get bored, he gives you something else that's worth listening to. And you're invested and captivated, and he's pulled you along the entire way. All right, reason number 5 why Chris Stapleton is a songwriting genius is his ability to live in so many different genres and styles. It just boggles the mind. So people tend to think of Chris as a country artist, and he does a lot of country music, but it's not conventional like I got my boots and my pickup truck and my wife left me and I'm drinking beer on a Friday night. It's not that. That's not taking shots at anybody who does that, by the way. I happen to like a lot of that kind of music. But if Chris Stapleton is gonna do country music, he's gonna do it with a twist. He's gonna mix something else in there. And then he has other songs that wouldn't really even fit the country label at all. I'll just rattle off a bunch of examples for you. He's got a song called Them Stems, which is more of like a shuffle blues song. It's got some rock elements infused into it. He's got a song called Either Way, which is a very stripped down acoustic guitar simple folk ballad. He's got a song called Up to No Good Livin', which I've already mentioned in this video. Now this is a country song, but it's in 3/4 time, which is a little unusual for a modern country song. Not only that, the instrumentation is kind of creating a waltz pattern. It's kind of dun 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 dun, but he does it in a way that feels classically country. He's got a song called Second One to Know that's more of like a classic southern rock song. It feels like it could be a ZZ Top song or a Lynyrd Skynyrd song. And the crazy thing about all these songs, they're all on the same album. One after another, he hits you with a song that's enough in his style and in his lane that his music feels relatable and recognizable, but enough in a completely different style and a completely different lane that you're like, wow, what's he giving us this time? And his ability to just jump from genre to genre and feel like he lives in each lane and is doing it completely authentically, and to do so in a super innovative way where he mixes in elements from other styles, it's nothing short of masterful. So there you go. If you didn't think Chris Stapleton was a genius, hopefully I've got you convinced. And if you're not familiar with his work, hopefully I've convinced you to go take a listen to some of it. What do you think? Are you a fan? Is he really as good as I say he is? Let me know down below. And if there's any other songwriters that you really love that you want me to break down, leave a comment about that as well. I love doing these deep dives into people's songwriting style and kind of picking apart what makes them brilliant and what makes their music work. So I'm open to suggestions. All right, thank you guys for sticking around for this whole video. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to this channel. It kills me every time I have to say that. It's such a cliche YouTuber thing, but it really does help so much. And that's all we got. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.